Hi everybody, welcome once again to another Low on Health Rambling. Today is Tuesday, June 15th, 2010. It's around 7:30ish, yeah, 7:30ish. That's where my clock is, that's why I always look off to the side. Second day of kind of E3, and basically been going over all the little press conference snippets. I didn't watch them all completely, I just kind of skipped around and got the big meat out of it. And whatnot. And of course, I just want to kind of go quickly over some of my just thoughts on them. I know some people that watch this, I'll be talking to you about them and whatnot. But I'm not going to do a big email or big article write up on Low on Health. I'm just going to use these videos as kind of my impressions of E3. So let me see. Right off the top here, I'm going to start off with Sony's press conference and Sony's thing. No new PSP, so whoop-de-doo there. I was kind of hoping for a new PSP model, but whatever. I'm definitely not interested in the PSP Go, and if my PSP 1000 dies, I'm really interested in picking up a PSP 3000 just because of its built-in Skype capability. So maybe if one of the bundles goes uber cheap, I might pick one up within the next year or so. We got a bunch of kind of other game announcements recently. You had Final Fantasy 14, the MMO, which I really don't care. Didn't really that big of a fan of 11, and didn't like 13 whatsoever, so 14, whatever, I don't really care anymore. Infamous 2, didn't really like Infamous 1 that much, but it was kind of one of the only exclusives Sony still has, so but I'm not interested in Infamous 2. Another game they did, trailers of was Dead Space 2. Great and all, but whatever. I liked the game, but I didn't like it that much. Two big disappointing things I didn't see so far out of E3, in which case they would have been at the Sony's press conference. Was basically No Last Guardian, which of course is the Team Ico's thing, which kind of sucks. A lot of people have been looking forward to that one, and not seeing it on the Sony's press conference more or less means it's not going to happen anytime soon, or it's going to be a surprise. Hopefully it'll be a surprise, but that's kind of a big letdown. No Last Guardian information, and then also no new Kingdom Hearts. I know they mentioned Kingdom Hearts Decode for the DS is going to be coming out, and then Birth by Sleep's coming out in a couple of months here. But no Kingdom Hearts 3, no new solid sequel, and that would, of course, also I would assume be a PlayStation exclusive, and no information on that unless Square does a big conference and release it, which I doubt they're going to do. So that's kind of disappointing. The one cool thing, of course, that now I'll bump out here, is basically we got the PlayStation Move. They actually kind of dated it and priced it, in which case, it's going to be $50 for that little thing for the Wiimote. But apparently you also have to have a camera, which I do, but you have to have the camera to get the full functionality of it, I guess. I haven't really dived into it. But it looks like you need the camera, you need the little wand, which is what I'm calling that, the wand, and then you also need to do a chunku, which basically plugs into the back of the nunchuck on the Wii. In which case that's priced at like $30, and then they have like a bunch of different bundles and whatnot. But it just seems kind of convoluted to me that you need to have the camera, and then the Move, and then the chunku thing attached to it, which I guess kind of makes sense, but you think it would all just be one unit, the wand and the nunchaku, but that's not very promising. I'm definitely not interested in it whatsoever, and just like the iToy, I'll get it if it's cheap, but I severely doubt it. I'm not interested in a Move, and they haven't done anything to wow me about it. Now, Tal, we still haven't gotten an official, or Kinect, we haven't gotten an official price on it, so I still don't know what's going on about that. What really was kind of interesting is that Gabe Newhall from Valve came out and did a whole big shadoo about Portal 2, which there's also a trailer for it now. That Portal 2 is coming to the PS3 next year and consoles, and he says the PS3 will probably be the best definitive console version, which I, of course, think is BS because they've always been against it, but now they're all for the PS3. But the good news is that Portal is coming next year, and it looks like it's going to actually have a time jump. It looks like you're basically revisiting the old lab, and the old lab itself is kind of rebuilding itself, and that's what this trailer is right here. But ironically, looking forward to 2011, Portal 2 almost looks like to be the only game I'm interested in, or actually looking forward to in 2011 that's been announced. That's kind of sad with one game. I mean, you have all the sequels and stuff, Fable 2, Gears, and all that crap, and Infamous, and Dead Space. I'm not really jazzed about them whatsoever. So, Portal right now is looking like the only game I'm looking forward to in 2011.
For science, you monster.
Whatever. But, so yeah, big whoop-de-doo. Sony's press conference, probably the least exciting of them all. Nobody cares about it anymore, and they've always been kind of the least excitable, entertaining conference, but whatever. And of course, the big news of the day is, of course, the official release of the Nintendo 3DS. And happily, they're keeping the Nintendo 3DS name. It's 3DS, they're not changing it to something stupid, which I'm very happy for. Of course, what they've also mentioned, it does have the dual cameras, so you can actually take 3D pictures, which actually is, I think, actually really, really cool. Hopefully you can share those pictures too. That'd be a cool thing, if you can take 3D pictures and share them over the 3DS network or Nintendo network. That would be freaking awesome. Also, it has a little analog nub there, which some people are like, yay, analog nub. Of course, the top screen's a little bit bigger. Really looking forward to it. A lot of people have had hands-on on these. They had a bunch of, basically models available for people to kind of test them out and whatnot. And a lot of people are very impressed with it, but you do have to kind of have it directly in front of you, which is understandable. That, if you're off a little bit or you move, it kind of goes away and you have to reassert yourself. But so far, people have been amazed by it. And another thing a lot of people have been amazed by are all the different games they're announcing for it. And let me see what I got here on my list real quick. Basically, they announced Star Fox 64 is coming to it, or Ocarina of Time is coming to it. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater is coming to it. It's basically getting a lot of old games poured to it. Street Fighter 4 is coming to it eventually. And I think that's really, kind of stupid but kind of cool to have those games in a totally different medium, not just being remade, but remade into 3D. And Snake Eater particularly I'm excited about, because Snake Eater is my favorite Metal Gear game, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. And having it on the 3DS would be very, very cool. I'm really looking forward to that. But back to the 3DS, the camera is great. The thing is, we don't actually have a full specs or price yet, and that's kind of iffy. Hopefully it's still around the sub $300 range. I'd be really happy if it is. Still no specs on the web browsing capability and the MP3 capability, which usually it's ACC audio files only. In which case, those are kind of, make or break items for me personally. But it still looks slick as hell, and I'm very interested in it, and they've done a good job with it, basically saying, hey, there's the games that come out of it. Looking at the catalog of games, granted some of them are remakes and whatnot. Kid Icarus is a launch title for it, so if you're a big Kid Icarus fan, woo. But if you look at it, compared to like Kinect's, like its launch library compared to this launch library, yeah, the Nintendo 3DS has just got to sweep this holiday season. But of course, for me personally, I was happy to see that, boom, a new Pilot Wings, announced for the 3DS, Pilot Wings Resort. And I'm a huge Pilot Wings 64 fan. And if it kind of plays like that, it has that same type of vibe and play style, I'm very much looking forward to the Nintendo 3DS, basically Pilot Wings Resort. If that comes as a launch bundle, great, sign me up. I will more than likely get one. Sorry about the yawning. But yeah, wow, 3DS kind of blew me away. I'm waiting to basically see the next couple days. We'll get probably a lot of, on the ground people talking about it. We've yet to get a lot of of the gaming industry's commenters and reporters and stuff talking about these, playing these, and comparing these. And we'll hopefully get it the next day or so, and I'll probably discuss it on Friday. Right now I have a rolling Gmail email kind of going around with everybody saying, hey, what do you think about it? And we're all discussing it then. I'll probably be on Xbox Live tomorrow, for those who are interested, and maybe we'll talk about it there and there about E3. But, yeah, really cool. I'm really excited about the 3DS. I'm just hoping to get some actual hard, press release information about, like, specs, price, and whatnot. But other than that, let me just go ahead and on to, I always want to pull a game from the collection. Today's game I got here is going to be Serious Sam for the Xbox. First-person shooter, kind of funny shooter, kind of Duke Nukem-ish, but not as serious. Got it cheap from Blockbuster back in the day, prior to buy one, get one. Don't remember anything about it, but I know I played it. Whatever. Had to do a game from the collection. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.